Hello, welcome to Algebra 1, Chapter 1.6, and today we're going to discuss the commutative and associative properties. So this is really a continuation of the properties, the identity and inverse properties we talked about. So by the end of this lesson, hopefully you can recognize both the commutative and associative properties and also use them to simplify algebraic expressions. So first of all, the commutative property allows you to change the order of two numbers anytime you are adding or multiplying, because remember, order doesn't matter if you're adding or multiplying. So 3 plus 2 gives you the same answer as 2 plus 3, or 3 times 2 gives you the same answer as 2 times 3. And so we'll want to do this sometimes when it's beneficial to mentally add two numbers together in a different order. The associative property allows you to change the grouping if it's a straight, like I'm adding these three numbers together or I'm multiplying these three numbers together. Because 1 plus 2 plus 3 is going to give you the same answer as 1 plus 2 plus 3. So to show you here, we get 3 plus 3, which is 6, or we get 1 plus 5, which is also 6. So if you are anytime given three numbers, it's straight addition or multiplication. So let's do 2 times 3 times 4. Order of operations would dictate that there's parentheses around the first two, whether there really is or not, because you multiply left to right. Well, what happens though if for some crazy reason I want to multiply those two together first? The associative property allows you to do that. So these problems are going to be similar to the ones you did, I believe, in your 1-4 assignment that you're going to list out every step and show the property. So looking at this, you could just add the first two, take that answer, add it to the next one, take that answer, add it to the next one. No problem, okay? But if I'm maybe doing this mentally, there's something to adding the 2 with the 5s, and then those that are going to be a whole 10 at the end. And you really can just add them together, but remember we talked about everything you do, there has to be a property that says you can do it. So what we're actually going to start with is we are going to switch and get next to each other those numbers I want to add together. So that switch is called the commutative property. And there is a commutative property of addition, a commutative property of multiplication. I'm going to assume you knew that was the commutative property of addition, and so just commutative property is fine with me. Alright, so then order of operations would be left to right, so I would get 40, because I now know that's 40, plus 17 plus 3. That's a substitution, right, because I replaced 35 plus 5. Now, order of operations would say that I want to add 40 plus 17 next, but maybe I want to add 17 plus 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put parentheses around 17 plus 3. That's the associative property. So then I can actually do 17 plus 3 and get 20. So another substitution. And then end with 60, and that would also be substitution. So I've used commutative and associative to put the numbers where I want them to make the math a little easier. So let's try that again. So to our benefit, which two would you want to add together? Well, hopefully you'd see that you want to add those ones with fractions together. And so up to you if you want to move the 8 over or and the 12 over, or if you wanted to switch the 12 and the 5. It doesn't matter at all. We just got to get those two fractions next to each other. I'm going to switch, let's see here, I'm going to switch the 12 and the 5. Oh, and I switched my fraction too. Let's try that again. 3/4 plus 5 1/4 plus 12. So that switching is the commutative property. Then I'm going to add these together. So we're going to get 9 plus 5 would be 14. And that's a substitution. And finish it off, that's 26. And that is also a substitution. The last thing I want us to just look at, this is a review of all the properties we've talked about. So today we did commutative and associative. There is commutative-associative both of addition and multiplication. Remember, commutative means switch the order. Associative means switch the grouping. Previously we had talked about identities. Additive identity is you add 0. Multiplicative identity is multiply by 1. 0 only has a multiplicative property of 0 is that you get 0. Distributive property is that I'm going to multiply that number on the outside through to the numbers, all the numbers on the inside. There can be more than 2. And substitution, we've used it a whole lot, and that is when you replace a number with another number. So, very important that you know all of these properties because we do use them on a daily basis, whether you take the time to recognize you're using them or not. So that's it for today. We'll finish the rest in class. Let me know if you have any questions and have a great day.